On the eve of Remembrance Day, a moment when the nation pauses to honor those who served, a revealing exchange took place during an interview with Veterans Minister Louise Sanders-Jones. When pressed repeatedly about how many British veterans are currently sleeping rough, she was unable to give an answer. We'll dive into this story in today's video, but before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Right now, only 12% of viewers are subscribed, so join the community and help us grow. It was an uncomfortable moment and a deeply symbolic one. At a time when we're supposed to be reflecting on the sacrifices of those who defended this country, the government's own Minister for Veterans couldn't provide even the most basic information about their welfare. It speaks volumes about where our priorities have gone wrong. Across the UK, there are men and women who once wore the uniform, now struggling with homelessness, unemployment, and mental health challenges. Many of them feel forgotten. Yet, in stark contrast, people who enter the country illegally are routinely given accommodation in hotels or temporary housing funded by the taxpayer. This isn't about lacking compassion, it's about fairness and responsibility. If the government can find the resources to house thousands who arrive without status, it should certainly be able to support those who served under the nation's flag. The inability to answer such a simple question on the eve of Remembrance Day highlights a wider truth. Leadership today is failing the very people it owes the most to. Honoring veterans means more than laying wreaths once a year. It means ensuring they are never left behind. Until that changes, words of gratitude will continue to ring hollow against the reality faced by those who gave everything for this country. Have a listen to this exchange.
Do you have an idea roughly how many veterans sleep rough on our streets each night as we approach Christmas, Minister?
So those numbers are really hard to know. And of course, one veteran on the streets is one veteran too many. We have obviously the number of referrals.
What sort of number do you think we might be talking of here?
So I think across the rough sleeping population, veterans certainly don't make up any more than we would expect to see. And I want to get that number down to zero. And that's why.
But what do you think the number is, Minister?
So we know with Op Fortitude that we see referrals in the tens every week, and we know that we've helped over 1,000 people access housing through Op Fortitude. And then we also know that those that are at risk of homelessness is a bigger number, and of course those stats are just very difficult to track. But actually I really want to take this back to Valor, because one of the really key things that Valor will do...
I don't think you know the figure, because I have asked you 3 times, and I would have thought if you want to talk about the importance of Operation Fortitude, it might have been an idea to look at the number, mightn't it, Minister?
No, so I think it's important to recognise that people who are sleeping on the streets, so the way we can collect that data, so it's really important to understand how we can collect the data.
It's 3,700, believed to be.
And, yeah.
If the government can't even say how many veterans are sleeping rough, it shows just how disconnected it's become from the people it's supposed to serve. These are men and women who put their lives on the line for this country. Yet too many are left to fend for themselves, while others who arrive illegally are housed immediately. This isn't a question of resources, it's a question of priorities. A nation that forgets its veterans forgets its values. Supporting them should come before any political gesture or policy debate. On Remembrance Day, it's not enough to offer words of respect. Real honor means action, ensuring every veteran has a roof over their head and the dignity they've earned through service. Anything less is a national disgrace. In other news, an SAS veteran has declared his fight is with the government as he called for more support for Britain's service personnel. Speaking recently, Matthew Hellier told hosts Camilla Tominey and Michael Portillo claimed that money given to military-based charities is not being spent correctly. As the nation marked Remembrance Sunday in a ceremony led by King Charles at the Cenotaph, Mr. Hellier detailed how the work of his charity Pilgrim Bandits helps veterans. He said, "My charity is not only a military and blue light charity, it helps communities. We're a small charity that punches well above our weight, and we are committed to all of our veterans, communities, and blue light services. Criticizing the Labour government's spending of money on military-based charities, Mr. Hellier explained, "The government gives a huge amount of money to charities, but that money isn't being spent correctly in my opinion. There's hundreds of millions of pounds that the government give. Doesn't matter which government is, they aren't subjected to give this money, it's controlled by a group of military charities. It needs to be disseminated down to the individuals in need, and not given to events or stuff like that." He added, "We can look at events once we have cared for all of our veterans, once we've taken every veteran off the street. Once we've made sure every veteran gets the care he deserves, and then we can look at events. The money needs to be spent properly." Asked by host Michael Portillo what impact being in the SAS had on his life, Mr. Hellier said, "For me, it's a huge impact. It's excitement, I loved every minute of it, but it comes with sacrifice. And I've sacrificed a family over this. I had 3 children, and unfortunately, one of my boys died 2 years ago. So I didn't afford him the time that I think he deserved because I was selfish in supporting and honoring this country. And I thought that was the right thing to do." He continued, "But really looking back, I would like to have spent a bit more time with my family. All of our families broke down, the divorce rate is huge, and the children suffer a little bit, but that's because we're dedicated to this country. So I hope that people can see the dedication and commitment all of our armed forces give to this country, and they need to be respected." Stressing that veterans and service personnel are giving the government's biggest problems to solve, Mr. Hellier said, "We love it because it's almost like being part of the England rugby squad, where we have people that you can rely on 100%. We are running around, we're great individuals, and the work we get into is extremely complex. So it's not just physical, it's absolutely mental as well. We get given the government's biggest problems to solve, and unfortunately in this day and age, we're getting persecuted and prosecuted for it. So now my fight is not with the enemy, my fight is with the government at the moment," he concluded, "and we are trying to create a group through me and through some great individuals that are supported like Chris Parry, who comes on this channel, and we're creating a group that will bring all groups together. So we can educate individuals on why we do the things, the rules of engagement, the chain of command, and we want the support of the government and we want the support of the public. Feeling breathless in hospital could be a far more serious warning sign than anyone realized. New research has revealed, with patients who struggle to breathe 6 times more likely to die than those breathing normally. The study of nearly 10,000 people found that a simple 45-second check could help identify those most at risk. Nurses asked patients to rate their breathing difficulty from 0 to 10, just like they do with pain. But while breathing problems proved deadly serious, pain levels showed no clear connection to whether patients survived. It's a finding that could transform how hospitals monitor their patients. The research team at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center in Boston tracked patients admitted between March 2014 and September 2016. Nurses documented how breathless each patient felt twice every day, creating a massive data set that researchers could analyze alongside health outcomes over the following 2 years. Associate Professor Robert Banzet, who led the study, explained that people experience breathlessness in truly frightening ways. Some describe it as feeling starved of air or suffocated. Despite how awful this symptom feels, hospitals haven't routinely asked patients about it the way they check pain levels. The assessment takes less than a minute to ask patients how breathless they feel and record their answer on that 0 to 10 scale. The numbers paint a stark picture, as a quarter of patients who left the hospital still feeling breathless died within 6 months. Compare that to just 7% mortality among those who breathed easily during their stay. Patients with breathing difficulties also needed more urgent care while in hospital. They were more likely to require rapid response teams and transfers to intensive care units. The worse their breathlessness rating, the higher their risk of dying. Yet pain ratings told a completely different story, as researchers found no clear link between how much pain patients reported and their chances of survival, challenging assumptions about which symptoms matter most. Professor Banzet believes the findings make sense when you think about what breathlessness actually signals. The sensation of dyspnoea is an alert that the body is not getting enough oxygen in and carbon dioxide out. Failure of this system is an existential threat, he said. He pointed out that while hitting your thumb with a hammer might score 11 out of 10 for pain, it won't kill you. Breathing failure is different. It's the body's way of screaming that something's seriously wrong. Medical experts are calling for this simple breathlessness check to become routine. Professor Hilary Pinnock from Edinburgh University described it as a powerful alarm that could improve patient care, whilst GP Dr. Claudia Almeida Vicente stressed the need for closer monitoring of breathless patients after discharge. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you have not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.